Alright, hey everybody. This is a tutorial idea I've had kicking around in my head for a little while. I thought I'd get it on video today so I can get it out there and hopefully help some people who are potentially struggling with the Botwoon fight. So this is going to be for the beginner route, Spazer Early Ice KPDR. This route, generally you're not going to want to X Factor because it requires 2 additional pauses, which are often slower than just doing the fight with charge and ammo. You have to pause once before Botwoon to turn off Ice and Spazer, and then you have to pause once after to turn Ice back on, because you need Ice on before lower Norfair. Not only that, but the X Factors can be very finicky. If you miss a particle, it can sometimes swing around the room forever. While X particles are out, you're not able to shoot any supers or charge shots, and so it just eats up a ton of time. And Wave Beam is 150 damage charge. This full PRKD beam combo is 300, so you have to do half as many charge shots to clean up the fight as well. One nice thing about the X Factor setups is when they work out, they put Samus in exactly the right position that she can start firing supers immediately and hit Botwoon as he comes out of the hole and gets hit with the X particles. I have not seen a lot of examples of setups that do that same thing for the Early Ice KPDR, where you're killing him with supers and maybe a couple of charge shots. So I found a couple of setups that I think should work pretty well. There are some setups that rely on using something like a music cue or waiting for Botwoon to come out of the hole. Music cues are not something that generally works for me personally in a lot of places. I know that not everyone likes them as well. And if you're waiting for Botwoon to come out of the hole, sometimes you're super late and hit a body segment. Depending on your reaction time, your setup's input lag and display lag, you can potentially lose enough time that you can get 1 fewer super in on the round, which means you have to do it on a swoop and potentially miss, or do an extra charge shot during the swooping phase. And the more damage you can do with supers, the better. Both your beam and super missiles deal 300 damage. Supers you can fire 3 times as fast. And so with the route in the preset, you're going to be getting 10 supers total. So the most you're going to be entering here with is generally going to be 9, which will require at least 1 charge shot, plus however many you have to do to make up for any missed supers. If you get the crab supers and have 15, you're going to enter here with potentially up to 14. And so you can super him 10 times, potentially clean him up in 1 round. But even a 2-round fight at this point is really good. This fight is a major source of time loss when you're just starting out. It's very easy to lose 10, 20, 30 seconds, sometimes even more, if you bonk a bunch of supers and have to resort to charge shots, especially because his body segments will eat a lot of shots due to the way that projectile collisions work. And so the fewer charge shots you can do, the more supers you can get at the beginning of the fight, the better, because it'll speed you up. And honestly, just having a good fight here and getting good drops, so you have to do fewer bug farms afterwards, is enough time save that you can potentially PB, if not fully off the back of it, largely off the back of it. I know I've had PBs that have happened almost entirely because of a good Botwoon fight, saving my Meridia segment. So the setups that I'm going to do rely on a jump and a morph to time when to start firing your supers, so that the first one hits Botwoon immediately as he exits the hole. Another nice thing about these setups is that your horizontal speed, your run speed entering the room, doesn't matter. So the setup is the same whether you're here, or whether you're here, or whether you're here even. Might be a little different here. If you're too close, it might not work, but as long as you're like somewhere far enough back on the platform, yeah, like even that'll work. And so you want to be on supers first here, like as you enter the room. If you're not on supers, you start the fight with your supers. And so if you're not on supers, it means 2 extra menus in the room, which is 2 extra inputs, and your timings do have to be like fairly crispy for this. It's not like mega tight, but you do have to be kind of on top of things. You can't hesitate, and having to do those 2 extra inputs can be a cause of hesitation. And so you just want to be on your supers before entering the room. Then what you're going to do to enter is you're going to run and jump and bonk the top of the door. What this will do is fix the door. It saves you about 20 frames. Door fixes aren't super important when you're first starting out, but the setup uses this one anyway because it wants to fall a little farther in the room. And so, like I said, you can save 20 frames. You run, you jump, you bonk the top of the door so that it's a perfect door. You hold left and angle, you jump, run to the wall, morph, unmorph, start firing supers immediately. And then he'll start swooping. If you get 8 supers, it's only 2 charge shots to clean him up. And even though I was slow leaving, that's still a 22 second fight. It's very feasible to get a sub 20 if you can do a reasonable 2-round. And like I said, that's a huge time save. So again, you're holding angle and left to break spin. You're jumping and bonking. As soon as you land, you're holding right, bonking the wall and morphing, then unmorphing here. I use between these 2 dots. You want to end up a little farther right rather than farther left, because due to the way the projectile collision works, if you're too far to the left, your super will sometimes bonk one of his body segments instead. If you're standing or too far right, they can sometimes do the same because they'll kind of miss Botwoon's head. But yeah, so jump, turn around when you land, and you just start holding right. This pattern is bad, so just react to that how you can. Do your extra supers on the later rounds. That pattern will probably lose you time, but there's not really a ton that you can do about it at this point. Just be ready with your charge shots. If you end up feeling nervous about your health, or just kind of unsure about the fight, one nice thing is that once he's done with his spit phases, which once he starts swooping under half health, so once you've hit him with 6 shots, either supers or charge shots, he will never be able to hit you here. And there's only a couple of the acid patterns that potentially can that are feasible to dodge. So see, I can just kind of stand here. He'll never hit me. You can just charge shots, wait for him to be in a good position to hit his face, and perfectly safe. Grab your drops and leave. And so, yeah, this, like I said, this setup is fairly lenient. You don't want to hesitate if you can help it, but if you miss a super or 2, it's not, like I said, it's not a huge deal. It just means an extra charge shot, which is a few extra seconds per. But it's better than having to do like 6 or 7 charge shots. And so yeah, it's fairly simple. Make sure you're doing a full jump and going all the way to the wall, and then morphing after you bonk it. If you go too soon, it's very feasible that you'll mess up the timing here and not be able to get all of your supers. But like there's no finicky turnarounds here. That's what I like to do to hit that pattern with all of my supers. But then the alternative here is to use the right wall. Basically the same setup. You open it the same. You run to the right wall. You do your jump. You morph. And depending on the pattern, you can potentially get a charge shot in. I like to, when I fire my final super, just keep holding shot because that'll buffer that charge shot immediately. I may have already said that, but that way you can just release it, and if you have a good pattern, you'll be able to hit him before he goes back in the hole. And, you know, if you've hit him with 9 supers already, that'll kill him. If you've only hit him with 8, it means you only have 1 charge shot that you have to do during the second round, etc. So, and that's basically all there is to the setup. Again, you just want to break, spin, and land, jump, turn around, bonk the wall, morph, roll into position, unmorph once with jump or crouch, or do that same thing, but bonk the wall, full jump, morph, get into position. So if you have any questions about this or you're having any struggles, feel free to DM me on Discord. I'm very good at answering messages, and I love helping people figure out this dumb game. But hopefully this helps you, and you can save some time on that Nasty Meridia segment and get a nice PB. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next mission.